I can vividly remember there was times that I, as a teenager, was walking down the streets with 5-gallon buckets of water, the plastic bar cutting into my hand, water dancing and jumping all over my leg, just so that we could have running water in our home. Came home from school and hit the light switch, and there was no light. So what it did for me, it created a mindset that says, don't pursue greatness, don't go after all of your full potential that you know is deep inside and that everyone else sees, but just be better. Don't struggle. And so when I realized that I had horrible and stinking thinking, that I was playing small, not living out my true potential, then I had to do something that combated all of those years of horrible thinking. In order to kill that, and I will encourage anyone, is tap into the mindset that allows you to shift that.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Carpe Diem Living the Podcast. I am your host, Shane Gitmed, and today we have Mark coming onto the show today. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and I see that you're on the East Coast. What state are you in?
I live in Atlanta, Georgia, better known as Hot Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, how did I not know you were located in Atlanta? I love Atlanta so much. It's such a special place for me.
Okay. Yeah, I love it too. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee, but I've been here for over 21 years now. So.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What made you want to move to Atlanta?
Well, it all started with a job and wanting a change. And I love it. I love the diversity here. You get a little bit more than what you get in Nashville, but it's been really good for me from the time that I've been here. So I don't want to go back right now.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, Atlanta, I've gone there multiple times. And one of my favorite memories is going to the Beyonce concert when she had her Lemonade tour. So That was really cool. I've had multiple girls trips there, so it just never gets old. But yeah, I just love Georgia. I used to live in Georgia for a couple of years. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
What part?
I live near Savannah, Georgia. So it's just a couple hours down south, but I mean, everywhere's drivable over there. It's so close. So yeah.
Yeah, the beach area, Savannah.
Yeah, Tybee Beach. Do you know it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Savannah's a nice, and you can get good food in Savannah. Good Southern food in Savannah.
Yes, that fried chicken from Paula Deen's, or if you go to, or there's another place. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember the name of it, but yeah, there's just so many places. But yes, gosh, love the South. So jealous. I wish I was there. But yeah, so Coach Mark, can you tell us about your background and what led you to coaching?
So I went to school for business originally, but from a young age, I've always enjoyed empowering people with knowledge. And so when I got laid off my job coming out of college, I decided to go into teaching. And a short career in teaching, maybe 7 years, I was afforded an opportunity to go train teachers and coach them on how to work with students that were behind and were having struggles with reading. And so I've been doing that for now about 13 or 14 years. And I felt this real pull to do something beyond that and impact a generation or people in the area of life coaching. So I decided to get my certification in life coaching, and that kind of spun into wellness coaching and transformational coaching. So it was always a pull to support people with building knowledge, but now I'm crystal clear with a lot of experience and a lot of things. You know, life has a way of guiding you to where you're supposed to go and the path that you're supposed to be on. And that's how I ended up with doing the wellness and transformational coaching.
Oh, I love that. Like, I know even for me, like just helping people is just the best feeling, knowing that you're impacting people's lives. What is your ideal client when it comes to coaching?
So my ideal client is anyone that's looking for a transformation in one or more of the three areas. I believe in holistic transformation. And if holistic transformation happens, it must happen in mind, body, soul, and spirit. So those that's looking for have goals in one of those areas or all of those areas, I had to go through a full transformation myself. And so I understand what it takes. I understand the mindset and all of those. So I'm more apt to help those that's really looking for a true transformation. I mean, shift that mindset. And if you can shift the mindset, you can show up in many other ways in the body, soul, and spirit.
That is so true. There's a line that I love where it's called mind over matter, where it's really just how you perceive things, your thoughts behind it. I mean, what are some of your favorite influencers in that space that kind of inspired you to go into this?
So one of my coaches is Lisa Nichols, but it's probably a number of different thought leaders. And I would say Oprah Winfrey, Ayanna Van Zandt. All of those have impacted me and still impact me. One of the things that is interesting that you brought up earlier, how did I get here? There's this book out there, and I encourage everyone to read it. And it's by Oprah Winfrey. It's called The Path Made Clear. And it's not a book solely by her, but it's a collection of all these great thought leaders that she has interviewed on her Super Sundays as well as her shows. And she says that life, good, bad, and indifferent, leads you to a path to your purpose and destiny. So everything that I've experienced has pretty much guided me to this area. But if it was a person or people that kind of pushed me into this particular area, I would probably say the names that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. It's that's what's so interesting is like when you're kind of following on your path and then you kind of come across these different thought leaders. And I feel like it's kind of like, as you absorb them, it's to a point where you can't ignore it anymore. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to apply that to my life. I have to do something about this. Social media has a funny way of constantly putting certain things in our face that way. So, I mean, I love a good quote, that when you start your day, when it just pops up on your feed. As a coach, what are some tips that you could recommend to people as far as if they want to see transformation or how to, what are some of the first steps you would say are to feeling unstuck? Because I know that's why people want the transformation is because they feel like they're in this spot where they're like, oh, I want to get out of this rut.
So one of the things that I realized that I had to, for me personally, was I had to recognize that I needed a change. I was literally, I had this mindset, and I know where it came from. I was raised by a single parent mother, and as hard as she worked, there was times that she could not provide for us. And so I can vividly remember there was times that I, as a teenager, young teenager, impressionable, was walking down the streets with 5-gallon buckets of water. The plastic bar cutting into my hand, water dancing and jumping all over my leg, just so that we could have running water in our home. There was a time when I came home from school and hit the light switch and there was no light. So what it did for me, and it impacts people in different ways, and my story is not unique, but for me, it created a mindset that says, don't pursue greatness. Don't go after all of your full potential that you know is deep inside and that everyone else sees, but just be better. Don't struggle. And so when I realized that I had horrible and stinking thinking, that I was playing small, that I was not living out my true potential, then I had to do something that combated all of those years of horrible thinking. And I'm over 40. So one of the things that you have to do in order to kill that, and I will encourage anyone, is tap into the mindset that allows you to shift that. So I started speaking affirmations. And one of the affirmations that I speak to myself every day is by Marianne Williams. And most people know her. She ran for the Democratic president in this last election. And she has this poem that was made popular in Aquila and the Bee. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of your creator. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about you shrinking. And it goes on and says, and as you let your light shine, you unconsciously give permission for others to do the same. As you are liberated from your own fears, your presence liberates others. You can't speak that over yourself every day and not start internalizing it and showing up. So as you speak those affirmations, it becomes an echo chamber that goes out your mouth and back into your ear. And what you begin to believe begins to manifest itself. So if there's one practical thing, whether it's very detailed as such I gave one that I gave you, or it's just a small one that says, I'm great, I'm powerful, I'm awesome, I deserve the place that I'm in. You start speaking that every day and it will start manifesting itself in your life.
Okay, seriously, as you were speaking, I even felt my own vibe, just like I feel like there's like a light switch. I was like, oh my gosh, I can feel that energy was powerful. I can definitely see why you're a motivational speaker, because that was just so uplifting. And what was that? Like not even like a full minute, like, but that was amazing. No, it's so true. This is why affirmations, some people, I feel like it is like a lot of people are like, oh, that's not going to work. But of course it's a muscle. You got to practice it. You got to say it. You got to believe it. And honestly, that's the main reason why I apply it with my son, because also as a single mom, and he's 4 years old, turns 4 next month in June, I say those types of things to him and he doesn't realize it's affirmations, but I'm like, you would have no idea. But I tell him, I'm like, you're strong, you're smart, you're amazing, you're great. And then as his speech is developing, he's saying it along with me. And you just can see the shift happen. You can see like if he was just having like a tantrum or he was just kind of like not in the best mood. And then we're saying it together, all of a sudden it's like, oh, all is well. And he goes right back to watching Sesame Street. So
yeah. I mean, we live in a world where there's so many vibrations of negativity, and as well as limits. Even our educational system teaches us to live in limits. Grades are limits. If you don't meet this standard, then you're not adequate. You're not great. So we have to do something that from a young age, like you're doing, to really tell our young people that they live in an unlimited world. Check this out. So I really been thinking about this. If a person could imagine in their mind that they could take a rocket ship from Earth and send it to outer space and land on a different planet, and it started from an idea, then how much more than the thoughts and the ideas that we have, if we imagine it, it can come to reality. But what life tells us is that, oh no, it's not true. You can't do that, or it won't happen. This is unimaginable. But our Creator has designed, if it's possible to come into our mind, then it's possible to come into reality. Every great invention started with a thought. So encouraging people, speaking to ourselves and taking the limits off so that we can be our unlimited potential, or tap into the unlimited potential and be the best version of ourselves.
I love that. I love what you said, all of it, just with the unlimited potential, because it's true. Like I remember going to school, and I'm sure, your background as a teacher, when you'd see kids, be really disappointed in themselves if they didn't reach that grade, if they didn't get that A. What was that like as a teacher, watching students kind of get so affected by the grades that they would get?
See, I mean, and I feel kind of bad now, and that's why I work really so hard with teachers, shifting their mindset, because when I was a teacher, I did not have this level of thinking. And so I duplicated what I received as a student. And now I was a performer. I did great. I did well in school. I could have done well, but I was never challenged. So now I really push teachers to understand that if you can create a belief system in a child, yes, there may be disabilities, there may be circumstances. We all have a story that may be challenging and may cause us to have different things that show up in our lives, but that does not dictate the greatness that's inside of us. A grade does not determine how smart we are. A grade does not determine the intellect and the ability. What it just says is, in this particular area, I didn't meet this particular standard. But what if there was not a standard? What if it was just, let's take it as, let's gain knowledge. How much knowledge can we gain? Even in the failure, there's something to learn.
That is so true. I feel like it's crazy. Yeah. When you look back and you're like, yeah, I just didn't have that higher level of thinking then. Cause I do the same thing when I look back at school for me, where I struggled or where I excelled, and I let it kind of define me. And I think that's what happens is we let certain things, the belief systems define us. And then it's like, no, like there's so much more that we are not tapping into, or we just don't realize in that time. So that's why having coaches are really important to have, because they're the person you can have in your back pocket to help remind you of not only where you're currently at, which is amazing, and to grow even further. So I just think it's so important, especially when you're on that path of you're just wanting to see that growth. Yeah, that's why I have my own coach too. I don't know what I would do. I swear I saw life-changing results ever since I started working with her. So I totally get it.
Yeah, I personally believe, this is my personal belief, everyone needs a counselor or a coach, either one. And you may not need one consistently, but there are times in your life where a coach needs to show up. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. The transformation that I've seen in my own personal life, and I'm talking about, I had to recollect, because I've been saying I've lost 45 pounds, total 65. Actually, I've lost more than that, 55, over 80 pounds total. And I had limiting beliefs about my ability. I ran my first 5K in record time for a new runner last year. And it took a lot to even desire to even launch a coaching practice. All of this was the result of me being in coaching for over a year. Because people, when you talk about coaching and getting help, it's still taboo, people trying to understand what it is. But for every week, for over a year, I went through coaching. As I was learning the tools, I was also getting coaching. And the insight that I got about myself, what was sabotaging me, what were my true goals, was amazing. And that is why I'm Coach Mark today. That is why I have this mindset, from that support from my coach.
Gosh, can we talk about your running journey? Because that is huge. I mean, a lot of people, especially now that the weather is getting better, people are trying to be more active. So your background, so you had no running experience prior. Is that right?
I had a core belief that I had told myself, based in a lie. I'm not a runner. I can't run. I couldn't even run down the block. You want me to run what? Down the block? I can't do that. Put an elliptical machine on that. I can go for 30, 40 an hour. But run? Oh no, I can't do that. And I had told myself that for so long that it was a core value that I could not move. So when I started shifting my mindset, I had to realize I had to kill that lie. So I started an app called Couch to 5K, and it walks you through interval training that literally gets you up off the couch and prepares you for your first 5K. And I started in January of 2020, and in March the 7th, I believe, I ran my first 5K, and record time for a new runner. And I've crushed that. I crushed that 5K limiting belief over 11 times last year.
That is incredible. I mean, in 90 days, you pulled that off?
Yes. I shocked myself. And it was and I did not invite anyone. It was in Myrtle Beach. I did it with some coworkers that I worked with in Greenville. And I remember running, and there was times where it got stressful, and I was like, oh, but I said, I'm gonna keep pushing. And just the joy of crossing that line and knowing that I had did something that I had always told myself I couldn't do. We often have dreams and goals and things that we want to accomplish, but it's not anyone else. We talk our own self out of it. We tell our own self lies, and it causes us not to experience the fullness and the greatness of what we could do or who we could be. But what if we flip that and start saying, there's nothing impossible for me to do? Woo, this is good to me.
No, I am loving this because just with the 5K, that's actually my goal right now too. I haven't been able to consistently start my my training yet because my schedule got insane, but it's definitely still that goal. I went to Fleet Feet, I got my feet measured and the right shoes. So I set up the foundation. So it's a matter of just starting the consistent training. And I was looking for apps actually to kind of help you and guide you through. So thank you for the recommendation of the app. Because I can relate, you know, growing up, I didn't grow up in a sport. My mom wanted me to focus more on music. So, okay, fine. And I told myself for years, I am not a runner. I am not a runner. I could do all types of other workouts, but just not a runner. But something told me, especially when was it? After I was able to continuously work out for a long period of time. It was like months of consistent Pilates, row classes. I was like, you know what? I think I'm finally going to crush that lie of I'm going to run, and I'm going to start with, you know, start little and then hit a mile and then eventually hit the 5K mark. So yeah, I'm like, I envision it every day where I'm like, oh, when I cross that ribbon or whatever, that finish line. So I can only imagine of how that felt for you. I mean, did you cry? I feel like I would cry.
I'm trying to remember if I cried. I think I did. And I'm not, I think I had literally, I was exhausted. My breath, I was panting, and I was seeing all of these massive people on both sides waiting for their loved ones to cross the line. And none of that mattered. All that mattered to me was I did something that I always believed. Ooh, I'm getting caught up right now because so many times we limit ourselves. So many times we diminish the greatness that's inside of us. So many times we talk ourselves out of potential. We talk ourselves out of the promotions and the great job. No one has said anything to us. We convince ourselves that it's not for us. And when we attack the lie, when we kill that lie, then we're able to experience the joy and fulfillment of the greatness that's inside of us. So, yeah.
I feel like that needs to be your new hashtag. Hashtag attack that lie.
Attack the lie. And you guys said, kill it, strangle it.
And that is perfect. Oh, so yeah, running, huge. Definitely going to get on that. And I will let you know as soon as I crush that live, because that is going to be, I mean, I just want the thing that shows that you made it. Like, I remember growing up when I would see people attend, you know, like the color run or all these fun runs. And I'm the type of person that loves going to events, but that was the one where I was like, man, I guess I can't go to that party, but nope, we're going to change that. So that is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I literally on my wall, I have a placard that I purchased that hangs all the medals for the 5Ks that I've ran. And it has no limits, and it's metal. And it's amazing to think 11 times last year, I crushed a limiting belief. 11 times. Yeah. Woo.
And 11 is a great number. So that's really good. Oh my gosh. So with your clients, what are some of, I guess, let's celebrate, you know, the people that have been impacted by your work. What are some of like big milestones they've reached as far as from the results of your coaching?
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things that I love so much about coaching is the insight that you get about yourself. And everything else is a byproduct. So from as a result of the coaching, as well as the seminars and the workshops that I've hosted, I've seen clients literally lose weight, launch careers, start businesses, and reach their personal and business goals from just putting in the work. And so the coaching model that I follow is called learn, be, and do. So most people, when they have a goal, they go to the do, which is the action. I want to lose weight, so I start the diet or I start the eating plan. But what I do as a coach is I focus on the first two first. What is the learning that needs to place to be successful in the action or the do? What has worked for you? What has not worked for you? What motivates you? What inspires you? What has been sabotaging your success in the past? Because like me, I was on a roller coaster. I would lose 20 pounds and then I would gain 30. And then I would lose 20 and then I would gain 40. And so I had to really understand what was happening to keep me on that emotional roller coaster. The second part, which people often negate, is who do I want to be in the successful person, in the business owner, in the smaller you? What characteristics do I need to have? And so we focus heavily on those first two, then we design an action for that. And because of that, people experience the fulfillment of reaching their goals, which is what ultimately satisfies me.
That is so good. Yeah. I just love when, I love success stories, because especially like COVID got a lot of people down. A lot of people were so unmotivated. They didn't know what they were going to do because they had to change careers. Everything was just turned upside down. So it's just so nice that now that we're kind of coming out of that and just seeing that people are getting, reaching the goals that they've put out for themselves. So I think that's so amazing. Okay. So what's another hot tip that you could recommend for anyone that's just new to coaching? Because like you said, it is taboo. I've heard from some other people, like when they've asked me, how are you doing the things you're doing? I'm like, oh, well, I have a business and life coach. And they're like, oh gosh, that must be so nice. Like they act like it's such a luxury. And I'm just like, I feel like it should be essential. Like you said, when you said you should have either a counselor or a coach, like one or the other is like really great to have. But yeah, what's another tip that you could offer to someone or motivating someone into wanting to find a coach? Because they may have a limiting belief too.
Yeah. So the first is stop lying to yourself. I literally had this thought this week. I was working out, and maybe a month or so ago, I did an inquiry to see who wanted to be a part of this group coaching session that I was going to do to help people lose COVID weight, the 20, 30 COVID pounds. And I had some people that joined the interest meeting, but no one jumped on it. And it was because of this. I can do it by myself. And we oftentimes believe that we can accomplish goals and we don't need the assistance from anyone else. And I was there too. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us, especially independent people, I can make it. I know how to do it. I can research it on my own. And just tell yourself, if you could do it on your own, why haven't you done it? If you could have reached that goal by yourself, why hadn't you done it? I have 3 coaches right now. I just invested into a personal trainer and a coach because I had gotten to a certain weight and I was feeling good, looking good, doing all those wonderful things, but I wanted to take it to another notch. And I couldn't do it because everything that I had relied on in the past, everything that had brought me success in the past was no longer working. So I needed the support and assistance of someone that could help me understand what I needed to do now in this season to get to the next season. And losing the weight and all those other things, I didn't have a coach previous to that. That's why I said you may not need a continuous coach, but you may need it for certain time periods. So I had to put some skin in the game. And in the last 2 weeks, I've lost 12 pounds. I've already seen the definition start manifesting itself and so forth. And I've invested in my coach for 3 months.
That is amazing. It is so true where people are just like, they do say like, yeah, DIY it, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to do it on my own. But either it will take twice as long, 3 times as long, or it won't work. And especially when it comes to health, like especially as you get older, yeah, there's things that will no longer work for you like they did before. And sometimes you just got to call in the expert. So I love that you mentioned that you can use them for seasons, for certain time frames, because some people think like once you sign up, it's like forever or something. And it's like, no, it could just be for that goal that you have set out and then revisit and come back again. So.
And then it's also the power of accountability. I have someone that's vested in me reaching my goal. So I have someone that's checking, because I have clients that say, oh, my friend is going to be my accountability partner, and the friend drops off. But when you have a coach, that coach is right there with you as accountability, that's checking in with you, that when you hit that roadblock, or you may fail, because we all go through cycles of failure, even in our success, they can help you understand what happened and help you get back on real quick than to muddle in it and just say, you know what, I didn't meet my goal, or I didn't reach it, I just give up, which we often do. So that's the power of having someone, a coach, is they help you uncover everything that's going to help you be successful, but they also serve as an accountability partner to ensure that you're continuously reaching those goals that you set for yourself.
Love that. Yep. So everyone, please just get a coach. If you have a goal, just don't hesitate. You'll love it. You will see the results for sure. As long as you put in the work, it all comes from you, because coaches aren't responsible for your success. They're just there to give you that support. And other than that, the rest is on your part. So put in that work. It's important.
Yeah, that's powerful. And the power, and as your listening audience is thinking about this, a coach is not an expert on you. You are the expert on yourself. You know you more than anyone else. A coach just helps you by asking the right questions to uncover the expert that's inside of you.
It's all within. We just like to pass along the tools that we've gained along the way.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you today, Coach Mark.
Is it over yet? Oh my God. No. Oh.
Time flies so fast. Oh my gosh. Do you want to tell our audience if you have anything that you're working on at the moment and where they can find you all over social media?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on a few courses. So definitely follow me. I'm on all social media at Coach Mark Morton. Coach and Mark with a K, and Morton like Morton Salt. You can find me. I'm more prominent on Facebook than all of the social media, but I'm putting out motivational moments. I'm putting out little nuggets that will help you. My website has been turned upside down. You can find me at coachmarkmorton.com, and that will take you to my website. But I really encourage you. Right now, I'm taking 10 new clients. And I have COVID and summer prices, because I want to take in consideration which is my mission, is to build, encourage, and motivate growth and transformation. So come and check out my information. If you decide to work with me, decide to work with any other coach, it's okay. I still drop nuggets that are for free. And who can use a little motivation every now and then? So come and find me on Facebook. You'll see all that good content.
And of course, we're definitely going to stay connected after this interview. So yeah, you heard it here, and all of his links will be in the description box below. And thank you all for tuning in today, and we'll catch you all next time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for inviting me.